right. Here we are with Evgeny Vakhteev, the CTO and co-founder of DexGuru. Evgeny, it's so great to have you here on the Defiant. Excited to chat. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation.
So, Evgeny, we were just discussing how DexGuru is going through this important transformation. We all know DexGuru for its trading terminal, really great tool for seeing market prices of all the different tokens, really kind of real-time, great information. But now you are transitioning to a new model, a new product. So this is the main story we'll get to, but first, I'd love to start from the beginning. I'd love to hear the founding story of DexGuru.
When DexGuru started, I've been in Disney actually, and my co-founder over multiple years and multiple startups reached me, and I had this full-time job for 3 years in Disney as a senior developer and so on. And he was like, okay, let's launch another startup. And basically after we finished with our last one, Domains Index, we sold it somewhere in 2017 something. I had 3 years of full-time career in basically Hulu and then Disney after it was bought. And he approached me and say, I've been in crypto for the last 3 years, and Nick, my co-founder, and we know each other from 2006, basically did multiple projects together. And in those 3 years, I came to the idea that DeFi space is the next shiny thing, and we need to build a product where you can see all the DEXs in one place, you can trade, you see all the analytics, so you can make decision and from the same screen, not jump in between like Uniswap, SushiSwap, and so on, but in one screen, doing everything. And I started learning about crypto, how it works, especially DeFi space, to build this product, and we've built it in 6 months actually in 2021. I had to basically dive in crypto really deep. And that was my kind of boot camp course in crypto. But in Disney, I was doing pretty much the same thing. I was orchestrating ingestion pipeline for data, for video, for captions and audios and so on and so forth. But here, my main task was to orchestrate indexation and aggregation and ETL pipeline basically for DeFi space. So that was launched, and it was actually a hit because BNB just launched, and we were only one product which was supporting BNB, and even on Paraswap interface there was some delay with indexation, like 4 hours, while on our interface we had everything real time. So that's actually attract investors to our idea, and we got 2 investors around, and the last one was with 50 million valuation, like 5 million investments. And that's what we had for a while. This trading terminal, we went through the whole DeFi summer, got traction there, volume, and so on. But then winter came, and we were thinking, what do we do while 95% of retail gone? And we switched to building B2B products, and we've built Block Explorer. And after trying to do business development with different chains on sales of those Block Explorer, we decided to switch to build additional data warehouse product, which is analytical product hooked up to our Block Explorer very tightly, where dashboards and queries you composing in data warehouse basically baked in our Block Explorer, and all analytics in your Block Explorer is driven by community who contributes to data warehouse. So that's boosted up our sales to the chains, because we're offering like 2 products in the same time. And then internally we started to discuss Bloomberg terminal integration into the App Store, of like we are porting our trading terminal into Bloomberg App Store, and that was launched just today. And basically we came to the point where after crypto winter, we were a very lean team, right? And we came to the point where we supported block explorers on 18 chains, trading terminals, 2 versions of it, like data warehouse, and all that with very lean team. And how we did it, we developed our internal developers tooling, which allows us to do it. And that's how we get to that idea of Guru network and everything. Yeah, that's the whole story.
Amazing story. So how big is your team?
7 people right now.
7 people. And you said you had a $5 million investment?
Yes. In 2022.
Awesome. Who were your lead investors?
It's Lemniscap, Shima Capital, Wintermute, Parafy. Yeah. So we had great investors with good networking and everything. So they were really helpful in this kind of way we were going throughout those years. Yeah.
Awesome. Going back through the narrative you described, super interesting to hear. You started as this trading terminal, aggregating all of the DEX information in one page, but then you saw retail gone. Interesting to hear that from the developers and apps perspective. Just curious. Are you seeing retail coming back, or is it still a bit slow? Kind of, are we still not fully in the bull market mode?
Yeah, there is nothing like it was before, right? But we see some rise of the interest on our usage charts and everything. Maybe I would say it's 10-15% of what it was during DeFi summer. So maybe that big overall market, not on our stats in particular. I can just extrapolate. Maybe overall in different protocols. Yeah, it's my approximation of those numbers.
So you think we're only at just 10 to 15% of activity than what we saw in DeFi summer? I guess specifically for DeFi trading on DEXs.
For DeFi trading, probably even lower, because I'm just saying some of the activities, right? So liquidity farming, for example, it had its boom, but now it's all gone even further than trading. But yeah, it was all gone. Now it's turning back, and now it's a time to launch new ideas and launch new narratives. Because let's say DeFi summer was the time where we as ecosystem of crypto projects were able to polish this intercommunication layer between different kind of on-chain protocols and products, because all this tokenization will happen with freedom of liquidity flows. DEX is actually provided, and with permissionless markets, it's actually opened a new window. And we all had that. We all had the trend in DeFi because of that, because it was new thing which we had to build to kind of evolve as a blockchain, as ecosystem, and now we have DeFi as a core of our future ideas, as the core of our future economical models and etc. Yeah.
DeFi summer attracted all this retail interest because of yield farming. Now that narrative is gone. Now it's about kind of meme coins. And
it's not completely gone. It's not completely gone. It's gone to the point. So only people who actually know how to do it stayed there.
Would you say the narratives are more focused on meme coins, airdrop farming? It's a bit different than kind of the yield farms that we saw in DeFi summer.
Yeah, it's interesting how that concept of the whole regulation situation actually kind of boosted up meme coins, because how you can don't pass this hobby test, right? You don't need to do anything. It just, if it's speculation, it's speculation, right? And the main idea for meme coins is just to be those platforms where people can basically elaborate on some idea of something and nothing besides the idea. And that's a great mechanism by itself as well. And I believe it would have some useful applications, and we're here to actually figure out those applications, right? So there is some liquidity which is getting in, but basically what's besides this start hype? How we can motivate users to actually continue following those meme coins and everything, right? And invest more and more. So it should be continuous flow on some innovations and whatever. Like for example, Dogecoin doing it, right? Because for over the years, it still keeps everyone, attracted and so on, because new stuff happening with it.
But there's only a handful who manage that for sure. So you saw this change in interest and activity, and so you decided to pivot from focusing on this trading platform into offering, you said, block explorers?
Yeah, we started offering Block Explorer. We developed our first Block Explorer for Kanta chain during the hackathon exactly a year ago. And then we scaled up this to all the chains we supported in trading terminal and started different marketing activities with them. Along with it, we started doing business development with the chains who just launched their testnet, the chains where main Block Explorer is not basically there yet. And at some point, we figured out that Block Explorer's market is pretty full already, like everyone building Block Explorer. So what we do, and we decided during another hackathon that we would build data analytics tool, and in a month we did it in a way it was ready for production, and then we started offering it, and that actually boosted up those sales of Explorers because it was package deal, and along with Block Explorer chains getting developers tooling for dApps, because in data warehouse they can combine different queries against already indexed historical data, get APIs out of them which they embedded into their dApps, as well as visualize them in dashboards and everything, and embed those directly in their front ends. So yeah, this is the product from which we evolving into our next idea right now, because we use the same Guru data warehouse to power up our own products like trading terminals, block explorers, data APIs, and so on. So we figured that it's beneficial to have it, and then we came to this idea of productizing it by itself.
How are you compiling all this data? Like this data warehouse, what does it include?
Yeah, we started from trading terminal, and for trading terminal we needed to build like the whole ETL pipeline starting from nodes at time, because there were no big providers for the chains we wanted to support, right? So
like which ones?
I know Polygon was a problem at the time. BNB was a problem. Like they all were launching, and there were no providers supporting anything besides Mainnet. So we actually get ourselves into infrastructure game very early. So we had to have very deep DevOps and expertise in how to run the nodes, how to run our ETL pipelines on top of those nodes to index all the data, to not miss any transactions, because we show in all the trading analytics and P&Ls and so on and so forth in portfolios. So we polished indexation. This data was our internal product. We, again, productized it for public use in the form of data warehouse, so everyone can see the raw data in the tables, create SQL queries. We have AI helpers there, which you basically type in your queries to, and it converts it into SQL. That's how it evolved from simple data indexation pipeline for trading terminals and to basically the product we have now and the products we planning to build in the future.
So there are a few data providers for blockchain data. I guess like Dune Analytics is like a big one, and they also do AI driven SQL queries. There's Amber Data. There's a few data providers. How do you differentiate from them?
So we are not data provider. We are developers tooling provider, and that's the main differentiator. And with our new ideas, which we launched in May and this May, we've been going further, and we releasing this developers tool set we have internally as a Guru network. And Guru network, it's a multi-chain AI orchestration layer. So basically, it's a next kind of evolution of our data warehouse product, where which we combine in with product which we developed internally before for flows orchestration. So, for example, you have a user flow where user buying tokens or something. We have a trading form baked in, right? So there are multiple states on his route where he's getting the quote, like buying something, submitting transactions, and so on. So we started from orchestration this flow, and we utilized business process automation engine, which is open sourced and which I was using before at Disney. And this engine actually became, with some additions to, so it serves as a Oracle on chain. It serves as a task list for users which they can complete with their wallet and so on and so forth. With those additions, it became our Flow Orchestrator product. And we combining data warehouse with Flow Orchestrator and publishing it now. And that's basically allowing users to build different flows with all the data we indexing at their fingertips, and as well as incorporating those flows individual agents. And those individual agents basically snippets of code which they combine in Jupyter notebooks, because Jupyter Hub is embedded in our data warehouse. It's a data science tool as well. So they composing those individual workers there. They deploying them on our Flow Orchestrator, and then they can build their own dApps using our framework from scratch in a matter of weeks and months instead of doing it in years. We already have like 4 projects which utilizing this approach. It started like 2 months ago during this Denver, where I was mentoring at Hackathon, and basically mentoring different teams. They had some ideas, but maybe they didn't have some technical expertise or something like that deep they need to actually implement it. We have Flow Orchestrator published, like it's open source, and I was like, if you want, you can fork it, and I would give you some demo how to use it, and you guys can build your products like during hackathon, like in POC way, and then launch them in production ready, because we provide the whole infrastructure. And it's actually clicked. So in 2-3 weeks, there were some working products already, and then we're naming them on our new kind of a landing page for Guru Network AI concept. And yeah, we're in tight collaboration with them right now, because as they go, we polishing our products for that use case. But the main idea there is actually much bigger, because those guys, whenever they building their startup, they building the processes, like small processes. They need to actually fulfill their business model, and those processes, they could involve different AI orchestration, on-chain actions, off-chain actions, and so on and so forth, because they utilize in our blockchain business process automation engine, which we developed. And those things, they started polishing in the idea of like Guru network for everyone who's in that ecosystem, building different AI processors, using individual agents for non-custodial execution, or again, as a compute layer and running them, and those are compute nodes on Guru network. Or they just providing orchestration diagrams in our catalog, so in catalog of our ecosystem, so everyone who want to build something can utilize it as part of their business flow and pay like instantiation fee, as well as pay for infrastructure, because those guys who's published it, they can still have individual agents running on their infrastructure, and it could be closed like IP. So essentially, those individual agents are like Lambda functions, which are run on decentralized infrastructure of compute nodes, and those nodes could run different AI models. Those could run like DeFi applications in non-custodial way, where you're not sharing any passphrase with anyone but this individual worker, and you running this individual workers, or other type of applications. And this creates actual ecosystem for, we call it atomic franchising mechanism, where different projects building different products, and they solving like simple problems like support charts, for example, how you handling support charts. At the same time, they would be involved in blockchain operations, because every step they orchestrating in those chats, basically a transaction on Guru network. And because Guru network is orchestration network. Orchestration, that's our main service we provide.
Can you explain what you mean by that, by orchestration?
Yeah, sure. I can elaborate on it. So, for example, you have like a credit application flow on your bank website, right? And you get in there and you see the modal window where you need to put all your credentials and basically proceed, and then put something about your income and then proceed and so on. And basically it works like based on your answers, your route through those model window could be different. And you can go through the route where supervisor reviewing your application, because you are in decision tree somewhere, like they need to re-verify some stuff or request additional documents and so on and so forth. So that's how business process automation and orchestration works in traditional businesses, and that's how it's actually right now incorporated in banks and insurance companies and big enterprises like Disney. So all those orchestration systems are in there for decades, and there are standards for modeling this orchestration. So it's very visual. So you literally combining blocks together in some diagram, and then some logic where you can say like, if this, do this, and opposite, or if something in this range, and you can build decision trees in it. And this standard, like BPMN, is with us already for a couple of decades, and there are like dozens of products in traditional markets who's offering it to different companies or state. Like, for example, UK customs works of such engine, and when you fly in there, your passport is processed through BPMN process with all the decisions if they need to stop you or not. So those systems are on the market for decades, and they have proven, like battle-proven BPMN standard, which describes all the possible options you may need to orchestrate different processes. And task list to communicate with user, as well as different kind of interfaces to communicate with databases or microservices and other stuff. What we actually add in on top of it, we add in blockchain integration to all those things. So those participants who's orchestrated in some business process actually leaving their footprint on chain in a form of submitted events from those activities, right? So everything traced on chain, and then we also tackling the idea right now of combining this idea with Chainlink's CCIP protocol and CCIP layer, which and then all our orchestration and everything is hooked up to multiple chains which are participating in CCIP. And in that way, we can actually orchestrate processes on different chains, like deploying, smart contracts representing those blockchain business process definitions, which they could be deployed on any chain, like Ethereum, BNB, Arbitrum, and so on. But at the same time, commands what to do on those chains coming from Guru network, and we like orchestration layer for all those activities. And because we're very focused on AI adoption and different economical models where AI became a part of some business process, and you couldn't do it with one-step orchestration, like you ask in ChatGPT, you get nothing, right? You need to ask series of questions, do different decisions. Same way you communicating with people and you orchestrating people in some business process. And business process automation engines, we're doing it for decades. We're just saying, we're combining it with blockchain layer for all the financial stuff, because those steps could be priced and tokenized, right? And then we combining all the blockchain financial and decentralized and crypto tool set with traditional orchestration and with AI models, and we very focused on that niche of actual projects and companies who wanna start building something around it, and then whenever they figuring out how to do it, they would be able to share it with everyone in our catalog, share different individual agents, run them, orchestration scenarios, and get additional cash flow from this atomic franchising mechanism.
Awesome. Do you think this is a way to decentralize business processes in blockchain companies? I mean, if you can automate these actions with this DexGuru network?
And that's a very good question. I just had a conversation about it today with Nick regarding we actually, if we're thinking of blockchain as an interface, right? Right now it's very manual. If you're interacting directly with different smart contracts and protocols, it's very manual. Pretty much nothing automated. There are some automations. The whole concept of smart contracts should be around automating. But because of infrastructure limitations, we ended up in a world where we're doing lots of actions ourselves. And those actions, if something is not automated and if those actions are manual, it's actual point where mistakes happening. And we see those mistakes all the time, like some private key leaked somewhere, or something wasn't, approved, and it happened because someone was just clicking the wrong buttons. And that actually gives additional perspective on our product, because additionally to orchestrating different off-chain actions, like in that example with chatbots for support, right, car parts business, we orchestrate multi-chain blockchain actions, and then you can automate your trading, for example, in non-custodial way. And that's actually the product we, Guru team, working right now on Canto Hackathon, which is happening right now, and due date is basically May 5th. So they preparing, Guru team, like several guys who decided to do it, building non-custodial sniping bots, which has all the different data sources from our data warehouse to make decisions, as well as execution layer distributed as individual agents. So, for example, if you buying something and something on DeFi, and you want to be selling it when you're sleeping, when markets in DeFi working 24/7. So how you do it? Right now, the solution, like you're giving your passphrase to some entity, and they doing it for you. Those are sniping bots right now. We decided, okay, what could be a showcase for our layer 3 orchestration chain in that case, and we can make the same process but non-custodial, and we have all the data to make those decisions. We have AI orchestration mechanisms, so those decisions could have some prediction models, as well as execution could be happening on your laptop, where you can have your hardware key inserted, and basically you're not sharing it with anyone because you have individual agent running there, orchestrated from our engine. Very cool. So do you think that your ideal user, do you think it will be more businesses integrating these tools to offer to the end user, like maybe a wallet or a DEX might be interested in automating these trading actions, or do you want to go directly to the end user who might want to automate their on-chain actions? It's kind of chicken and egg problem. Yeah, as bad as it sounds. And we see the demand which we can tackle, and we know how to tackle it on B2B side of things. I would be frank there, because of how we did the pivot a year ago, and then we are polishing different narratives, and then I believe we polished something on business development side. That's why I see that we can grow ecosystem starting from businesses and startups who actually want to build something, and they need easy to use, fast to use technology at their fingertips to build it. Based on that, they build in processes, they publish in them, and in our white paper, we're saying, like, for retail users, they would be able to choose and launch their own assistants on their own hardware, meaning like we would have wallet in our ecosystem. Wallet where you would be able to go through our catalog of different orchestration snippets, and if they need it, for example, for you to transcribe and do one pager on your ideas when you were running, you just utilizing those, and you're not sharing it with some centralized entity. For example, you're just sharing it with individual agent, which is run on your own hardware, but orchestration of those processes is basically coming from elsewhere. And that's the actual use case for retail there, like different AI assistants from catalog, which is mainly tailored for business. But, if something tailored for business, it could be used for retail, in our daily lives. So to-do lists, like different chatbots, and and other things. Additionally, we see that retail participants would be able to earn on providing their devices as a compute layer for our individual agents. So, for example, they run in our wallet app on the laptop or anywhere, and they say, okay, when idle, it's ready for compute for these particular models, and they choosing those from catalog or for those particular individual agents in that case. That's the proper terminology there. And those things run when they don't need those devices, and that's how we decentralize on it. And at the same time, because we applying decentralized Oracle network from Chainlink to all those processes, we would have redundancy there. So, for example, if you need an answer on some question from AI processor, it would be launched in the same time on multiple engines, and you choosing decentralization lever you want, and then it would be launched on multiple devices. And in that case, you don't care that much about where it's actually executed, because you have multiple inputs which are cheap, then you're aggregating them, dropping down bias data. The same way you can drop down all those hallucinations AI do, right? And then providing user polished answer from AI processor. And that's exactly retail usage we see, but we see it happening after mainnet launch. And we would be in the phase of like phase 1 testnet, like starting pretty much next week after those sniping bot launch, and then we're planning on launching a layer 3 on base using a 3 base, and they releasing their like beta solution for that on May 25th, and we're planning on like switching our testnet, and we currently developing it, so developing framework so it would become incentivized testnet. And then it will be launching a new testnet on May 25th, and it would be using like 3 base stack. And then mainnet, and after mainnet, we'll be looking for retail. And we're planning on that on our testnet, we would have enough different applications onboarded, so retail would have something to choose from whenever they would be getting on our platform.
Awesome, super interesting. So around when should we expect the mainnet launch?
It's a tough question, actually. As we're discussing it right now, you can say that, the idea is quite comprehensive. And that those comprehensions actually don't lie only on different solutions we have right now, but solutions we develop into decentralized things. So currently, our framework, because and Flow Orchestrator, because it's growing up from our internal product, is very centralized, right? It's business process automation engine, which is run on our infrastructure. It has some tenants architecture baked in, so multiple can combine in one, but it's very centralized. We are working on decentralizing it, and this sniper bot release is the first step to do it, because we will have process definitions already being deployed as a factories on different chains where those sniping bots operate. And process instances would have particular smart contracts which are hooked up to it. It's our internal terminology, but yeah, sorry. So we would be building a stack of smart contracts which operating along with our orchestration engines, which clusterized and basically combined and decentralized Oracle networking under CCIP framework, and that's actually given us all the multi-chain functions. But on the way there, we would need to develop a bunch of stuff in decentralized way. So those smart contracts need to go through audits, and that's the process. And that's actually would be one of the points which we would like to accomplish before mainnet launch. So we would have testnet where all those solutions, we polish on all the solutions, and we can have businesses working on those solutions already because they need a real value. Real value, and because we tackle in that niche, which is not in blockchain, they don't care much that they operate in a testnet. But using those cases, we polish in our solution, we get in all the audits, and then we decide that, okay, now we're ready to switch to mainnet, and that's when it happens. So probably we'll evaluate this decision somewhere around in half a year or so.
Okay. Yeah. But in the meantime, it looks like businesses, startups will be able to use your solution in testnet.
Yes, and they already using it even before testnet. Right now we have projects of our ecosystem which started building on our centralized framework, and whenever we launch in testnet, they switch into use testnet, and everyone interested in testnet because that way you have all the traction measured. So, for example, if you have we have a Pixel Pact project in our ecosystem, and they started from idea, okay, let's generate NFT collections of AI. Basically, you give in some context, you generate an NFT collection. Then it evolved into a comprehensive process where you provide in context, plus you provide in like picture of art, plus you provide in your photo, and it generates completely new tailored art which you participated in with your biometry. And that's basically a completely new narrative. And with this narrative, they, for example, tackling this idea as a platform for apparel brands. So people would be able to integrate those processes into the apparel brand website, for example, and people would be like custom T-shirts or sneakers or something. And before they, with some art, they agreed, like with some artist, this apparel brand agreed to collaborate with, as well as some person input. And then even before getting the actual thing, you get an NFT issued, and that NFT is basically entrance to direct communication with your customers. Because currently apparel brands, I can elaborate on it, but yeah. Currently apparel brands losing this connection when they distributing through boutiques and stores. And that way you keep in that connection, you can offer different stuff, and they see what bigger brands are doing, and yeah, so there is some interest in it, but the process which is created for Pixel Pact platform, where you creating one image based on the context and two other images, could be utilized in more businesses and other projects, and it's already happening. So yeah,
very cool. This is a really original take and process that I haven't seen done in the crypto space. So it looks like you'll be unlocking a whole new set of use cases, automating different business processes, and hopefully we can start seeing the product of Guru Network. Right now, as you're saying, businesses are already taking advantage of these automated actions. So, yeah, super interesting stuff. Really, really cool to see how you quickly pivoted from your original idea, started seeing kind of where the business need was, and landed on this really original service. So yeah, we'll be keeping track of all the use cases that emerge from this, and obviously on mainnet launch, seeing how this is further applied to on-chain actions on your base layer 3. That's super exciting. Evgeny, thank you so much for sharing all this super exciting stuff.
Thank you for very cool questions. And thank you for the interview.